there everyone, thanks to my new subscribers and to my old subscribers. Tonight I'm going to do the truth about his feelings pick a card. You choose a number 1 or 2 and the timestamps are in the description box below. I have pulled the Emperor, the 7 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. So I can read this two ways, of course. However, if this reading resonates, please like, share, subscribe and comment. As per usual, if you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service. If you'd like me to send me a message with the funds or email me, the Fiverr account has a few more options for readings if you'd like to take a look, and you need to log in with your Google details. Back to the reading, I have the Emperor, the 7 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. Now, of course, we can assume from this, as I was saying, that this is a third-party situation, and that is the challenge in this deck. However, strangely enough, you are this man's focus. You are his big focus, and I'm not even sure if it's him. With the choices in his love life, I feel it's you. This is a very emotional connection. I wouldn't actually be surprised if you found it really hard to release this person, because I feel that you go through these moments where you think to yourself, I have to let this go, I need to find new love. And then you think about your situation again. And I feel that you're under some kind of threat or something in relation to finding new love for whatever reason that may be. It may be a past lover. It could be that you are afraid of the men you might meet, so they may not be to your liking. That's the biggest thing in these cards. You don't want to date a snake. It says that you deal with things, difficult issues on a day-to-day basis, and of course these issues can be looked at on scale. So it's saying that you have some serious issues that you deal with. There is a snake in your midst. There is a depressive person in your midst. There is a man in your background that won't let up. Now, this doesn't have to be a lover, but it's definitely somebody who is antagonizing you, and it weighs heavily on you. But I feel that you're quite a pure person at heart, so you don't let it get to you. But what it's saying very clearly is that you're in a state of confusion over this situation. I feel you think it's a third-party situation. However, you're not too sure, and whenever you think about that prospect, or if you know about it, of course some people know about their situation, but it really gives me the impression that you've been wondering over whether this is a third-party situation, but how you are the pure person in this mix. You know, you are the righteous one, and it shows very clearly that you are the one that holds the cup I feel if there's other women around, which it shows there is, they seem to be very loving, but they're also cheats. So your person wouldn't be able to stabilize these women even if you wanted to, because I feel they get around. And I feel that's why you have been pushed into the foreground again, because this man wants to be pure-hearted with you. He wants you by his side. He feels he's under threat by another man, that's for sure. He does feel he's under threat from another man. Somebody who he takes to be his protector or his friend, something like that, because I don't know, maybe he noticed that you were flirting with this bloke. That's a strong impression I get. He kind of thinks you were flirting with somebody around him, but he's very strict about that situation. So it's like you are his, in his mind, you are his potential bride, you're his, most faithful lover. He feels like he's a successful man with you by his side. But it seems like this was like a past feeling. Like I feel this is quite a successful man, and that you can have quite a successful outcome with this man. The problem being, I feel it's like a past relationship issue where he's had strong hopes and dreams to stick this thing together, but he hasn't succeeded. And the reason he hasn't succeeded is because you are supremely independent. He has had choices, but it's like he's above those choices. It is a third party situation, don't get me wrong. There are lover girls in the background, or hens, lady hens. It's just that they're faithless. They're playthings to him. He must, I get the impression he must be maybe on Tinder or a dating site or something like that. That's the strong impression I get in these cards. But it's not your thing at all. It's something you think you should be considering yourself, because you are independent. You were thinking that you could settle in quite nicely with this man in the past, but I think that you've moved on from that idea simply because you've had some notion that it's a third party situation. And I'm not sure you're wrong in that, because it shows he was married or he was partnered in his past. It's just that whatever went on, it's a past consideration. It's not a present consideration. I feel that the biggest threat at the moment is the fact that, I don't know, he's getting out there and being amongst women now and again, and he meets women and he has a good time with women or talks to women here and there, but really you are his focus. If you had those concerns, you are his central focus. I just get the impression that he's really after somebody beautiful, and even though there are these options around, you are his most lovely princess. And it shows very clearly that he wants to have a family with you into the future. He has very strong hopes and dreams about it. It's like it's a funny situation actually, because he has a very focused ideal in his mind about you and you alone, but he's in this situation where he is seeing other women. But I really feel that, and then he could have this ex, and he could have a kid. I mean, that's what I see in my mind's eye, but that's not necessarily the case. But it brings to light his utter loyalty to you. There's a friend, though, who keeps you apart. Quite a peckish fellow, I feel. Somebody who would attack you, swoop down and attack you for no good reason. And he seems to stand between you and your person. So I get the impression, though, that your emperor can be quite cool. He can be a hard man, but he sees the beauty in you. I mean, he actually has prospects of loving you into the future. So maybe he had this family in his past, but now he can see he has a renewed sense of hope about you both. That's what it says very clearly. He can see that you hold your heart in your hands and that you wanted to offer him something, but you weren't willing to in the past make that offer. I feel you were waiting for him, and the barrier between you is his cold stance. He's quite a hard man, and I feel you did your best to melt his heart to a degree, but there were complicating factors. He had this friend in his ear. You weren't being forthcoming because you have a lot of opinions on how you should negotiate these situations, so you weren't willing to offer your cup unless he showed that he was willing to offer his, and he wasn't quite willing to offer anything because of this side of his, which is quite domineering. So it's something quite beautiful that could have developed into something quite beautiful that didn't get off the ground. But also I can see how it's an equal love. It's an intense love. It's beautiful. It's fresh. It's refreshing. It's a devotional type love. But this gung-ho type attitude he has can be unforgiving, and I feel that you're a different creature, first of all, to him. You're a lot more loving than him, but not only that, he's wondering what it would be like to love you equally the way that you love him. He's very curious about you showing him how to love properly, how to love openly, how to love sweetly. So he's open to the idea, and he feels you can show him that. So it's very promising from the perspective that you made him think about women in a different light, and you made him think about women in a more caring light and a more nurturing light, because I really feel this guy's a wham bam, thank you ma'am type person from however it was he developed, whatever type of environment he was in really sculpted his ideas on love. And it's like when he met you, that all changed. It changed quite suddenly. He could tap into that side quite easily. He just feels he can't, like a robot, you need to push the buttons, and then he moves his arms, and then he moves his head, and then he needs oiling, he'll stall, and he needs oiling, and you're oiling him some more love and some more care, and then he'll jitter a bit, and he's a weird one, but it's only because he needed to be nurtured, because he has a beautiful side to him and he wasn't nurtured. And so it's a bit hard now because he's the emperor, so he's well developed in a lot of different areas of his life, and he might be uncompromising. But it's funny how you had the strength to show him how to love properly or how to love openly, because this is that would be a very hard thing to show this man, because I feel he has a side to him that is very steely, like he just shuts out everything, shuts out down all of his emotions, and he'd also be quite cynical towards love, even if you expressed it in most circumstances. But it shows kind of in these cards that he's not being cynical, he's being open to the prospect of a love affair with you. And I feel this whole third party situation is part and parcel of him being such a proud man and being quite a hard person in a lot of respects. But he's very hopeful he can learn from you. He's very hopeful you can show him how to be faithful, how to have a beautiful relationship, how to prosper in a relationship. And he actually had a glimpse of that life, and it made him really happy. So you are a powerful person in his life. He just has to learn to express himself to you so that this whole situation can move forward. Okay, so that was deck 1. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, so you can either send me the funds with a message or you can email me. The Fiverr account is a service facility that has a login, and you use your Google details if you'd like to take a look at that. I'll see you next time. This is deck 2. I have the Hanged Man, the Ace of Staves and the King of Cups. I really get the impression from these cards that your person has been in suspension in the past because he's been in hot water. I feel he's just been waiting to go through the motions, sort out the problems that he had in his life, which were quite serious. Because it's like he's been in this state of suspension, but it's like he's found his freedom in a funny way. It's like instead of facing the music in this deck, he's found a different way to resolve his problem, and I feel it's caused for some pent up anger and pent up emotions to well up in your person. So it's had a psychological effect where he's felt he can't do anything until he sorts out his situation. I can see in the past that he was, as I said, very successful. But he's turned away from that success. I feel he's pretty I feel even that he's a he's acting quite he's acting like with a type of chastity. He has a type of chastity about him. That's the strong impression I get. He's being chaste, but he's all for you. So I really feel that if you are of the opinion that he's seeing others, well, he could be flirting, but it's saying very clearly that he's not doing anything with those other women. And he could be doing something with those other women, because I think he's quite well hung. I think he has a reputation for being well hung, but he's just he's stopped everything so he can focus on himself. He can get out of the heat and he can feel the cool of the oasis. That's basically what I'm picking up. So he's waiting for things to cool down. He does want a new relationship with you. He has a very strong notion about it. I think he's had a lot of time to think, and he's now at the conclusion that he can get what he wants in life and in love since he found you. It's a very fresh relationship. There's a lot of loyalty between you, and I feel that loyalty was understood when you met. He's a very loving man. He's considering his emotions for you, and I feel into the future he's going to be in a position where he can show that emotion to you. You know, it's like he's trying to be the bad boy. He's reaching for the apples from the tree. He's almost reaching for you. He's not quite getting there. But he's trying. It's like he tried to express himself to you, or he tried to do something to move this forward, but he didn't quite get there. But also, he himself is an apple that's fallen from the tree, so he feels a little bit displaced. But I really feel it's like a feeling in the past between you. It was like a little bit of innocence, a little bit of passion, but really nice feelings. He seemed like a really grounded and nice person to you, and that's what you keep with you. I feel he's flown somewhere he has to fly back because his intention of flying back to you is to express himself to you, to actually express his love to you, but in a more mature manner. Because I get from these cards that the last time you saw him, he was a little bit playful and a little bit boyish in his mannerism, but when he returns, he will be pursuing you with actual romantic intent, and that will be the purpose of his trip. Because I feel when you see him again, he would have let go of the troubles he was having, the difficulties he was in. He would have sorted all that out by the time he returns to you. You are the only person that he has a strong focus on. There are other trees in the forest, right? There are other women around, but as I said, he's very chaste and he's not really considering those women for a new relationship. He keeps them there in the back of his mind, or he keeps them there as a security blanket, but he has no intention of moving things forward with those women. He has every intention of moving those women or those men. He has every intention of moving a new relationship forward with you, and you are his strongest focus. By the time he returns also, he will have developed his loyalty to you, and it will be a very grounded relationship. It gives me the number 1. So I also get the time you may have been in contact. The last time was about approximately maybe 12 weeks ago. And could have been, just gives me the number 12. I just get 12 weeks. I don't know why. But the other thing is that it shows me the number 1 quite prominently. And I feel for some people it indicates 1 week, and for others it indicates one year. Like, it seems to me that there's a progression here. It sort of goes from 1 to 1 to 1. So you might be able to make something out of that. But it seems to me in 1 year you will be in a new relationship with this man, and it will be very loving. If you choose to stick in there, because I realize that's quite a length of time, but it's showing me that time frame quite prominently. So it will be like he, I don't know, steps out of the clouds and into your life, because by the time he returns to you and he makes his intentions clear, you will just think that he's gone up in a puff of smoke out there in the world. Because he has gone somewhere and he has to return. I feel it's quite a long journey. But it shows very clearly wherever he is, he's always thinking about you. He's always independent. And he's always thinking about you. I feel he has to grow in strength. Like he has to stop his self-blame. Because his self-blame puts him in a position of vulnerability. And I feel he's going to do that. And the reason I feel he's going to do that is because he draws a lot of inspiration from the love that you give him. And he feels that you are the strength in his life. And he'd like to uphold his obligation to you on a spiritual and emotional plane. So he will be doing his best to return to you. But he's just got to sort himself out. He's just got to regain his strength. Because into the future, it's going to be a very devoted relationship. It's going to be a very passionate relationship. And it's going to be very well meant. After a time of depression and darkness in his life, and he will appreciate you very much. So you really are his new success. I feel in the past like his monetary success or his wealth creation was his success, but now it's just you are the successful tiding. It's all about you. And he also thinks about where he'd like to take you, to romance you. He thinks about you constantly. He thinks about the potential for you to start a new relationship together. So it's really strong. These cards are really strong, strongly showing that he's trying to get himself out of some strife, but he's well-intentioned and he will make it right. Just not right now, presently, but very soon. I feel he'd like to express himself to you. So if you hear from him out of the blue, don't be surprised. Because the intention is really good and the intention is very energetic. Like, I wouldn't say it's love feelings, but it's like a very soulful intention and a very grounded intention. And it's based on the happy feelings or the happy thoughts he has about you. And you make him feel happy as well. And that all factors into his situation, which is quite dire. So you have saved him. You are the lady that has pulled his spirit back up into the light after a time of darkness and uncertainty. But I feel it is gathering momentum again. And I wouldn't be surprised if you heard from him quite soon. Okay, so that was deck 2. If this reading resonated, please like, share, subscribe and comment. If you would like a personal reading, my details are in the description box below with a link to my website and to my Fiverr account. My website is a PayPal service, and my Fiverr account has a few more options for readings if you'd like to take a look. See you next time.